Hey there, campers. My name's Kimmy.
And my name's Ryan.
We've noticed you stumbled upon our mystical campfire, so that means there's a solid chance you have some questions. Like,
why am I here? What's going on? And why are there cryptid and folklore creatures everywhere? And should I be worried about the Mothman dressed as a camp counselor swooping down to steal my s'mores?
Well, you've stumbled upon the Aloreing Campgrounds. Aloreing is a folklore podcast where every episode we dive into the history and lore of different creatures and cryptids you see wandering around these campgrounds.
And during each episode, we discuss the sightings, encounters, poems, history, fun, facts, and pop culture focused on our campfire topic that week. We hope through shared experience we can learn and make light about all the unknown corners of the universe.
So come take a seat around the campfire, make yourself at home, and listen to Aloreing Today anywhere podcasts are heard. Or watch videos on YouTube, or even go to our website, aloreing.com. That's ALOREING.com.
I'm Felicia.
And I'm Ian.
And we are the Paranormal Lovers.
Hello, paranormal dudes, dudettes, and dudays. Welcome back to the Paranormal Lovers.
Hi, guys.
Hey, guys.
Welcome back to episode 22 of the Paranormal Lovers. What did you love about this week, Bill?
This week hasn't technically happened yet, but I'm going to be loving being at the beach.
Yes.
Sticking my toes in the sand.
Getting some sunshine. Getting in the water.
Having a place like right next to the beach is going to be so great.
Yeah, we're not going to actually be next to the beach. I think we're going to be next to, like, the Beaufort River, maybe. Or
okay,
the Intracoastal Highway. I'm not really sure.
Well, being next to water, it's going to be so awesome.
Water. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. Like you said, we're not there yet. We're double recording today since we will be out of town next weekend.
I love having a couple days off of work, that's for sure.
Yep. Yeah, I got a whole bunch of days off and I have to go back and work a week because... Anyways. Yeah, I'm going to have to go with that too, even though we haven't left yet. Going down to the Gullah Geechee Festival. Going to be so excited.
Sure.
Kind of an introduction for all of us to my roots.
Yep.
So, that being said, knowing that we are going to Beaufort, I know it's said both ways depending on what state you're in. I'm going to go with Beaufort because I'm French.
Sure.
Since we're going next weekend, and it will be the last weekend. Oh, sorry. It'll technically be the last weekend when this episode airs.
Right.
We're going for the Gullah Geechee Festival. So I had to look around on a topic for Beaufort. Okay, I guess I'm going to call it Beaufort because I'm from North Carolina and that's just what we call it. So I landed on the castle.
The castle?
The castle.
Nice.
Now, a little history about the town, the city. Colonizers found their way to the Low Country and the coast of South Carolina sometime in the 1500s. Mm-hmm. You know how when we go down to Savannah, anytime we pass the Yamasee River, I'm like, Yamasee.
Yeah.
The Yamasee tribe was the indigenous people of the area.
Nice.
I can't tell you what their indigenous name is, but that's what we know them as now.
Right.
And as it goes with colonization, there was lots of fighting.
Sure.
But that didn't stop the colonizers. Once the transatlantic slave trade began, the coast of this area became a busy port for the export of indigo dye and rice. Fun fact, the weather in this area can be really, really brutal, but also in the summertime it gets really, really hot. So a lot of diseases that weren't common to this country that came from Africa with the enslaved people killed a lot of colonizers. It's a damn shame. So sad. So the colonizers would leave their plantations for a few months out of the year, leaving the enslaved people of the island to their own devices. And most people that know anything about it, of course they had slavers, or what they called overseers, there. But you're talking about hundreds of enslaved people versus a handful of slavers.
Sure.
they didn't stand a chance.
Right.
Which is why now the Gullah Geechee still have a rich and thriving culture. The language is still spoken. And I've told you about Sun Machu. Sun Michaud. I thought he may have graduated from Harvard, but I actually looked at his website today. He teaches Gullah Geechee at Harvard.
Nice.
Which is like
Right.
This man.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And I didn't actually know, but there are actually a couple of different Gullah festivals held throughout the Low Country. Mm-hmm. When me and my friend went to Savannah, I got some shea butter from this lady called the African Lady Jax, I think.
Nice.
She's from Ghana, and she goes to the Gullah Geechee Festival in Jacksonville, Florida.
Right.
So there is more than one. If you're ever interested and want to know about the culture, go check it out. Now, in 1711... Beaufort was chartered, and it stood as the second largest settlement in South Carolina. It was named after Sir Henry Somerset, 2nd Duke of Beaufort. Fancy white people.
The Duke.
The Duke. Mayonnaise? Because that's the only kind of mayonnaise.
Duke Kaboom.
In the 1850s, one Dr. Joseph Johnson decided he wanted to build him a house. This would not be an easy feat, as there was a whole ass war going on, and there were often Union blockades. But he managed to get her done anyways, although it took quite a while to actually complete the property. Dr. Johnson would use brick from Ladies Island, which is another island down there on the coast of South Carolina.
Yeah, there's like lots of islands around there, right?
There are a lot of islands. Roughly from Wilmington, North Carolina down to Jacksonville, Florida, and 35 miles into the coast. That whole area is known as the Gullah Geechee Corridor through the National Park Service.
Right.
And it's just, that's where a lot of the plantations and stuff were at. And
yeah.
Lots of islands.
Right.
I cannot say the name of this. I think it's like Defosky Island or something like that. It's a little island that you can only get to by ferry, but they have like little cabins that you can stay on.
Nice.
But, yeah, he got the brick from Ladies Island, and he built his home at 411 Craven Street along the Intercoastal Waterway. It comes in at 7,900 square feet. Has 23 rooms, 79 windows. There are 6 two-story columns on the front porch and 8 fireplaces on the inside.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a big house.
Yeah. And with the waterway, there's a waterway, the Intercoastal Waterway runs along beside the house, which has water from the Beaufort River in it.
Dang, that's a beautiful house.
It's stunning, isn't it?
Yep.
Well, that river acts as a sort of a natural moat, hence why the name, the castle.
Right.
I do believe it was actually called like the Johnson House or the Johnson House for a long time.
It looks spooky.
Yeah, it does look spooky. And I think you can get like there might occasionally be tours in that house, but it is owned by
somebody still,
by a private owner, and they like live there when they're in town. I don't know if they live there all the time, but
look at the black and white again. Black and white picture is so spooky.
It's so beautiful, though.
It is beautiful.
Trees with the Spanish moss, like, and it was a plantation. It's a plantation, of course. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
or it was a plantation. Like, of course, it's stunning.
I always thought plantation houses were beautiful, but
they are beautiful, and I love them, and they can be really good for teaching about history.
Right.
But if I'm going to go on a little sidebar real quick, a little side tangent.
Go for it, baby.
If you damn people don't quit getting married at plantation houses,
Right.
you really want that kind of juju attached to you? Like, you want that karma floating you around? Like, I'm sorry, but my ancestors don't need to see you up there getting married. Like, stop it.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Right.
They go, this is a beautiful place to cement our marriage forever, where people were raped and tortured and beaten and enslaved.
As a white man myself, I don't think I could ever own a plantation house. It's just wrong.
Now, see, that's different. I could own one.
I don't know. I wouldn't feel right about it.
But that's from a different standpoint. It's like, I want to own it because I want to pay honor and respect to the people that were enslaved there.
Right.
I would make it like a museum.
Yeah.
You know, give guided tours, giving actual history.
Sure.
And be like, no, you cannot fucking get married at my plantation house. Go the fuck away.
Yeah, but you're a black lady.
Sure. Well, you know,
Like,
a lot of black people don't want anything to do with plantations for
Right.
the same reason.
Right,
Which
right.
is understandable. And I get that, but I'm also, you know me, I have an ancestor altar right now in the living room where I, like, call in the ghost of our dead family members, so...
But I do think they're spooky, and I'm interested in them because of that. Like, it being spooky, you know,
Yeah.
I think that's cool.
Yeah, for sure. In 1861, Union troops controlled Beaufort and used the, at the time, unfinished house as a military hospital. The building outside was used as a morgue, and it is thought that there are several unmarked graves on the property.
Sure.
Oh, yeah. In 1862, the federal government started to sell off parcels of land in the county to pay for unpaid taxes, effectively stripping many of the owners of their property.
Wow.
Luckily for Dr. Johnson, he was able to get his back after the war when he paid $2,000, or what would be $60,071 today, in back taxes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
A lot of money.
That is a lot of money. And keep in mind, like, that was the South, the Confederate, and so this was the Union government selling off their land. Because,
Right.
like, you ain't paying our taxes just because you thought you succeeded.
Right.
Now, you would think that this being a house that was a hospital during a war, that the hauntings would be of, I don't know, soldiers.
Right.
And there very well may be. But that is not the main haunting for this house.
The slaves, huh?
Nope.
No.
Allegedly, French colonizer Jean Ribaut and his Huguenots came to the Low Country in 1562 with a jester in tow. The jester's name was Gouche, and he had dwarfism. Now, there's no, like, manifest or anything with his name on it.
Right.
Which, on one hand, okay, maybe he wasn't on there. On the other hand, I don't really know how they looked at people with dwarfism in the 1500s and
Right.
the 16th century. Probably wasn't great.
Yeah.
So maybe they just didn't put him on there because they didn't feel it was necessary. Which,
Right.
You're looking at my face. It makes me feel gross.
Yeah.
You know, the thought that just because he's shorter than everybody else,
That he
that
wasn't
he's
a person
somehow not a
like
person
somebody
anymore.
else.
Yep. There is another theory written by Roger Pickney in the Beaufort Chronicles that theorizes that it was actually a man named Greenosh de Griffin who was Portuguese and died in 1708 in a battle with the Yamasee people.
Right.
Regardless, whoever he is, however he got there, however he died, he has decided to make the castle his permanent residence for eternity. And he's been there for a really long time.
Nice.
Dr. Johnson's daughter, Miss Lily Danner, remembers playing with him a lot as a child.
Oh, that's creepy.
He would join her when she had tea parties with her dollies in the basement. Like, why is your child having tea parties with dollies in the basement when you have a 8,000 square foot house? But okay. On the rare occasion somebody, usually a child, does see Goosh, he is in full jester garb, pointed shoes, stockings, and a hat with bells on it. He would communicate with the family by rapping. But it took them quite a while to find someone who could translate the message. Because we're not just talking about figuring out coded rapping from a ghost. But they did figure out they had to find someone who could decode rapping from a ghost who spoke 16th century French.
Right.
Because 16th century French is not the same as 21st century French.
No.
Well, it would have been 20th century French, but...
Right.
Lily and her brother reported that, quote, he always swears and has no opinion about anybody, end quote. He's a feisty little fucker from what I can find.
Definitely sounds French.
Right. Lily also reported that she quit listening on conversations with Goosh when he, quote, called one of the family members a hellion one night, end quote. He got an attitude. That's all I can say. From bdcbcl.wordpress.com, which in words is the Beaufort District Collection, Beaufort County Public Library. There is a report. Quote, November 8th, 1969, Mrs. Danner went to remove the roast from the oven to find that it was gone. Her maid had put it in the oven earlier in the day, and Miss Danner had not locked the door when she left to take the maid home later that day. The police were called, and in the responding officer's report, it stated that it was either a very hungry person smelled the food, walked in her house, took the roast out the oven, and walked out of her house.
It's possible.
Or Goosh got a little hungry and decided to take the roast and eat it.
Right on. It's making me think of Tyrion.
Oh, my Lord. Why'd you do that? Now all I'm going to think about is Peter Dinklage, which, is fine, because, hey, guy. But
Right. We love you, Peter.
I'd love me some Peter Dinklage. The next night, now here's the funny part. The next night, Mrs. Thomas, who lived not on the same street, but she lived close to the castle, went out to visit her family, making sure to lock the door behind her.
Right.
But wouldn't you know it, when she came home, her food was gone.
Huh.
Right out the oven. And there was no sign of forced entry.
Well.
And where I found this, I think it was called the Roast Bandit.
I mean, he
or
is
something like that.
He is a jester, so I mean,
Right?
pranks would be his thing.
You would think, right?
I mean, I don't think ghosts need food, do they?
I mean, I don't think they need it, but I can imagine some might get a little nostalgic and just want to try to eat.
Try to eat.
Because if you've got a roast in the oven for 6 hours, that smell's gonna permeate that house.
Yep.
And you might be a ghost, but your little ghost tummy might start rumbling.
Can ghosts smell? I
can imagine they probably can.
don't know.
If you think about you'll smell something when a ghost is around.
Sure.
Right? Occasionally I smell Mama's perfume that she used to always wear.
I mean, you definitely smell them, for sure.
Yeah, and when my uncle's around, I smell weed. So, I know it's not me smoking it, it's my uncle.
Right.
So there's another encounter in the book Tales of Beaufort by author Nell S. Graydon. Mm-hmm. They tell of an encounter a guest had with Goosh. Quote, Goosh. This is Goosh. Guest. What are you doing here? Goosh. I live here. In the cellar. Guest. Why? Goosh. It reminds me of my English home that I will never enter again. Guest. Will you let me see you? Goosh. No, I do not show myself to fools. End quote.
He's definitely a jester.
I read that and I was
Entertaining.
like, a jester and a French, because with my very narrow, limited U.S. American, knowledge of French, they're kind of a little snooty.
Right.
No, I do not show myself to fools. Sir, you're a damn ghost. What are you talking about? There have been other reports of some poltergeisty activity, such as furniture being moved around in rooms.
Nice.
And doors opening and closing during the night on their own. There have also been reports of red handprints on the windows.
Oh, that's spooky.
Not sure why. Like, what are you doing, Goosh? Some people have also reported witnessing a fog rise from the water by the house, take shape of a small man, and then disappear.
Nice.
Into the darkness. And sometimes you can hear the jingle, jingle, jingle
The bells.
of bells sewed into his clothes.
Sure.
And yeah, that's it. And that is the castle and their Jester Goosh.
Are we going to go to it while we're down there?
We'll definitely go by and look at it. I don't know if we can actually
Go in there. 'Cause
go
it's
in there for
privately
a tour,
owned.
because they do sometimes open it up. Halloween, they do a big thing every year where they hand out candy and stuff at the castle.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's like a neighborhood tradition. Like, whoever owns it kind of keeps it going.
I bet Goosh loves that.
He probably does. He probably pops up and he'd probably.
Get some candy.
I was gonna say, I could see him getting a ghost mask to put over his face and ding dong, trick or treat. Give me some candy. So the roast
Candy,
was
you fool.
the roast was good, but I need a full size Snickers, ma'am. You got any of that?
Taste the rainbow.
Yeah, you can definitely go. I mean, I know you can definitely drive by it and look at it. There is a website you can go onto to see if there's any events or anything happening there.
That's cool.
So, but yeah, that is the castle of Beaufort, South Carolina.
Be cool to see a concert there.
That would be pretty dope to see a concert there.
Jester being an entertainer.
Maybe.
You'd probably like that too.
No, I gotta move it. That's one of those things that I'm completely fine if it just stays in the past, having jesters.
Right.
Because while they were funny and entertaining, a lot of times it was people, that had a disability.
Yeah.
Or something like dwarfism, and they were put in that space because they were
Calling
already
them the fool.
funny anyways. So
Right.
let's give them a cute little outfit to wear and some balls to juggle.
Yeah.
It's just gross.
Right.
And that's the thing about doing these stories where you go digging into the history. There's a lot of outdated bullshit.
Right.
A lot of outdated bullshit. And
Sure.
I'm I don't like that.
Some dark history.
There's some dark history. And another little side note tangent. Anybody that lives in North Carolina has heard our recent lawmakers have
It's horrible.
banned abortions. I think past 12 weeks or something. And enough's enough. I'm sorry. We were watching something the other day where literal female politicians on the floor were holding signs that says politicians do not make good doctors.
No.
You are not a damn doctor.
No.
Okay? I understand people have a lot of feelings about abortions. I used to also have a lot of feelings about abortions, and then I grew up. Because I'm not taking care of that child.
Well, I mean, opinions are one thing, but when it comes to laws, it's you can't ban people from their own bodies.
Yeah. It's literally health care.
The government shouldn't be allowed to tell you what you can and can't do with your own body.
They shouldn't. And, more so than just losing that right, losing that freedom,
Yeah.
Oh, those people that want to yell about their freedoms. We are losing the freedom to do with what the hell we want to with our own bodies.
I mean, when you give them one freedom, they're gonna go for the gold. I mean, you literally opened up the door for them to take really anything from you.
Yeah. But more than that, like, this is going to kill women.
I know it.
This is going to kill women because if you have an ectopic pregnancy, if you have, you know, any kind of pregnancy that could cause you to lose your own life, there's nothing you can do about it.
Oh, I know
There's nothing you can do about it. And if you have an ectopic pregnancy, once your fallopian tube ruptures, you're going to die.
Yeah.
But...
And then the baby and the mother will be dead.
And then 2 people die instead of honestly simply removing a clump of cells.
Yeah.
That's not even a viable person yet.
Right.
From their body.
I mean,
so
they would die anyways.
Y'all, we got elections coming up next year. Do your due diligence. Do your research.
Fire all the people up there. Fire them all.
I mean, if we could just scrub the government and start from scratch, that would be great.
Get some people who actually do what the
people
want.
The French did it. The French have revolted and revolted and revolted and revolted against their governments.
Sure.
The Haitians do it.
Right.
I listened to a podcast, Red Handed, the other day. Love those women. Just love listening to them talk. They did an episode on a Haitian voodoo doctor, priest, guy, jackass. But in 1 year, they had 22 people in office. Or something like that. It may have not been 1 year, but there was like one span of time where they had 22 people in office, and anytime they wanted to do shit that the people didn't like,
kick them out.
They kicked them out. So,
I mean, we got to do something. I don't know.
I mean,
I'm not gonna tell people to revolt, but
I'll tell people to revolt.
Tell people to fire them.
Come at me.
Get them out of there.
Come at me. Like, it's getting to the point where we're going to have a revolution.
Yeah.
It's going to be, remember the 5th of November.
Right.
Up in this bitch. Alright, guys. Well, I hope y'all enjoy all my ramblings.
We love you guys.
We do love you guys, and I appreciate the 10 that have stuck around through all of my bullshit, too. So,
yeah.
We will see... Wait. Send us an email at theparanormallovers@yahoo.com.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Follow us on Instagram or Yahoo, or not Yahoo, YouTube.
Even if you don't like us, send us a message. Tell us what you think.
Yeah, I mean, even if you want to say, hey, eat shit, I think you're full of crap, and you should go...
I mean, we're open-minded people. We could take it.
Jump off a bridge. Send us a message. I don't give a shit. If I don't like it, it goes in the trash bin. Yeah, you can find us on Instagram and YouTube at The Paranormal Lovers, and you can find us on Patreon as well if you would like to support the podcast. And we are going to be still working on getting that merch store up on our website.
Yeah.
I got stuff figured out. It's just with starting a new job and everything, it's been
slow going.
Kind of chaotic this week.
We're getting it, though.
We are getting there. All right, guys. Y'all have a good week, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.